Hey guys, and welcome to a soon-to-be blood-soaked battlefield. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, but today we're taking a little look at a game between Loopy and a rather scary opponent. It is Slaanesh taking on the force of Kislev. Can certainly be quite a good fun matchup in general. Lots of fast, mobile, heavy hitters for Slaanesh, and are pretty similar in the way for Kislev. They're a bit slower and tankier, but with light war sleds, they're ever a menace in the speed department. For the forces of Slaanesh, we have triple Chaos Furies up in the skies, as well as some Seekers of Slaanesh hidden down in the trees, and more cavalry following up just behind them, more Seekers and Hellstriders to boot. The main battle line is a mixture of Marauders and nope, just Marauders. So Marauders on Marauder action, a couple more cavalry on the far left-hand side in the form of Hellstriders and Seekers, and we've got Demonettes of Slaanesh backing up the main battle line. Seems like we have 3 units of the lovely ladies today. Leading the charge is going to be the Herald of Slaanesh. Massive fan of the Herald in general. I think most of the lords in this game have pretty good utility, particularly for the demon factions, both the large and smaller demons, and the Herald of Slaanesh is no exception to that rule. Locus of Grace, as well as the portal glyph, enabling her to summon Chaos Furies is very powerful. Lash of Slaanesh, a nice cheap spell, and Acquiescence, so going relatively cheap and cheerful with the Herald today, but certainly still whacks a pretty heavy punch. For the force of Kislev, of course, we're going to be seeing some light war sleds in action. Looks like we have triple light war sleds, which is pretty awesome stuff. I prefer the heavy war sleds as far as aesthetic goes, though I must admit the light war sleds are a little bit more powerful. You get a bit more bang for your buck, and cost-wise, yeah, they're just so much better in that aspect. In the main battle line, it is going to be Armored Cossars, which is pretty cool to see these guys in action, backed up by some of the more light varieties instead. So not going too heavy on infantry, just relatively wide. We've got quite a decent amount of cavalry. We have some dervishes, looks like 2 units of the bad boys, as well as a unit of warbear riders in the center, led by a patriarch who unfortunately is on horseback, making him look rather less epic. It looks so scraggly and scrawny in comparison to the might of the Warbear Riders. Leading the battle line with an Ice Witch bounding gloriously into action atop her mighty stoic beast. Going to be coming in with the Guardian's Call, as well as Ice Maiden's Kiss and Death Frost. Pretty cool to see these spells in action. I see Ice Maiden Kiss quite a bit, not Death Frost that much. It is a direct damage spell. I believe Logic did a video on direct damage spells, and Death Frost was one of the worst ones. We'll have to see if it pays off here today. And on the far side, we have even more Dervishes. Should be good fun. Dervishes are an interesting choice here. They're going to pin down the enemy cavalry relatively successfully, but in a head-to-head fight, they're going to get dumped. And you can see here, Fury swooping in as well. The Brave Men of Kislev will do a decent amount of damage on the charge up against the much more expensive Seekers of Slaanesh, but they won't be long for the world. Luckily, they are pinning the enemy in place, and that is allowing some more shots to rain down in, but the cavalry is really overwhelming this right-hand flank. Dervishes getting dragged from horses into the mud and ripped to bloody pieces. Cossars are attempting their best to fend off the Chaos Furies. Cossars do anti-large, and Furies, though they fly, are not large targets. That's not going to help them out too much there. However, Warbear Riders getting on top of the Seekers of Slaanesh is 1000% a beautiful play there by the Kislev player. Front lines are about to engage. It looks like the cavalry had burst ahead, and Demonettes as well. Yeeting, anime style, running into the enemy as quickly as possible, and the Marauders going to whip up and around as the cavalry disengages once more, maybe looking to apply a bit of pressure to this back pocket of Kislev forces. We are going to see, it looks like the Frost Death go down on the Herald. Did some pretty solid damage there. Cossars are nearby, and in comes the Bear Queen herself. The Ice Witch ripping and tearing out the enemy general. It's going to be a big glorious fight in the middle, though Locus Grace does go down, giving a bit more durability to the demonic forces. Marauders are going to be pushing back Cossars on all fronts, which is really good to see. Armored Cossars being ripped limb from limb by the Demonettes, who are probably doing some pretty gruesome stuff to their bodies. And it looks like the cavalry is falling in droves now. The Warbear Riders still going strong. Light war sleds are starting to get bogged down a little bit, but if they can disengage and really hold on top of this infantry as much as possible, they're going to be in a fantastic situation now. What the Kislev player really needs to do is deal with the enemy cavalry with his warbears as swiftly as possible, and that will allow the light war sleds to carry in the end of the game, because it's a relatively infantry-focused Slaanesh build. It does seem like the Herald of Slaanesh has found himself in a bit of a pickle, or she has, I should say, as the Snow Leopard is doing decent damage to her as she flees and runs. Frostbite does slow them down, unfortunately, and that is going to allow the Frost Leopard to probably catch them if they were attempting to push, but currently they're getting distracted by all the shiny objects and Chaos Furies. Light War Sleds doing a fantastic job. Looks like Hellstriders have been forced back, and the Marauders are also breaking, man. Light War Sleds, their mass is so good. They're dragging themselves through many an enemy. Looks like they should be able to dispatch the Marauders of Slaanesh. But what I really like the Kislev player doing is fighting on the Warbears with his sleds. He's done that really well so far. The Corsairs are getting overrun by Marauders, which is kind of what you'd expect from that matchup. We get a nice little close-up here of the blood, guts, and glory. Axes are twirling in dazzling arcs of death. Unfortunately for them, the Slaanesh forces don't really care about death, and are going to easily punch back. Looks like some Seekers are going to be swarming in. The Dervishes do a rather brave counter-charge in an attempt to protect the Light War Sleds, while slowed by Acquiescence and taking considerable damage right now. The Ice Witch is on the warpath, though, and Warbears need to pull back in and deal with this cavalry really badly. They don't want to get engaged with the Demonettes for too long, who are hunting and dogging their every step. We're going to get a lovely little Ice Blast come down there from the Ice Witch. Did some decent damage, nothing too crazy. She's held the line relatively well, though. I've been impressed. She was drawing the enemy general for a considerable amount of time, which, of course, the Bear Mount allows her to do. Seekers of Slaanesh are getting dragged down. It looks like a mixture of Dervishes, Bear Cav, and Sleds are going to be enough to slowly pick them apart. Slaanesh cavalry is very powerful, but at the same time, very squishy. Look at the dead horses, my god. So many dead Dervishes. The lower classes of Kislev society have really paid quite dearly for this fight, and it looks like Balance Powder is massively in favor of Kislev, despite if we have an overarching view, their army being so much smaller. I suppose their general's a little bit healthier, and they've got Warbears left, and Warbears are a very expensive and solid unit. Not too much on the Slaanesh roster here to take them down, but if they can debuff them, get in there, the Demonettes, they certainly stand a chance. That's just what they're trying to do, and the Warbears, Acquiescence does catch them. It looks like they may break it, which is really bad news for the Kislev player. Another lovely cast coming in, the Ice Sheet, raking down the line of this infantry, and the Ice Witch stands alone in a tide of demons. Fight! Fight in the name of Kislev! Do not lose heart as she rips and tears with her Bear Mount into the enemy, and looks pretty gorgeous. A fiery ring of demons spawning behind her, but it looks like demons are getting flung back and forth as well as War Sleds charge back into the action, and the loyal Warbear Riders fight in the name of the Ice Witch here today and actually break quite a few units. Furies, though, being someone that is problematic, they can definitely do a bit of a number on the Warbears. It seems like we're going to get a nasty fascination go down on the Armored Cossars, ensuring that they're going to get a lot of damage and rampage. Probably going to be enough to break them off if we're being honest here. Light War Sled still going strong. A very close game, though it looks really good for Slaanesh on the ground game. This infantry is pretty low tier and very beat up, and there's a decent amount of War Sleds left. If they can continue to cycle charge into this blob and keep the Ice Witch alive, that's very crucial that she lives. I think they're going to be in a great spot. Lovely Ice Sheet once again going to catch out a decent amount of Marauders and slow them down. Ice Witch is just being a tank right now. The Light War Sled's going to dive in once more into the deep mighty bears, and they let loose a war cry that would chill the heart of even a demon. And it looks like it's working pretty good because those Marauders starting to lose hope. Even the Chaos Furies are starting to waver a little bit. And the Ice Witch, she's trying to claw back the Herald, calling her a second bit caster, and really trying to rip her head from her shoulders. Can't blame her. It is kind of what you have to do in battle a little bit. Warbears are still a decent amount of models left on them. 10 models, not that much HP. That's pretty good going considering they've only got 1,300 HP, which is a little bit lucky here. Demonettes are getting dragged down, though. It's a good target for them to hit the Warbears, who also have been nerfed there with an Acquiescence. But that's a decent amount of damage that can come back in, swoop, and do some decent damage. Army losses is looking near. We still have Patriarch basically full health. He's healing up and empowering the Ice Witch to show who is the better spellcaster. And it does seem like the Herald of Slaanesh wants out of this fight and is trying to run away as quickly as possible. With a couple of War Sleds left in here, they can definitely deal with the enemy infantry. It looks like we have 4 Light War Sleds on this one unit on the left. And yeah, that's going to be enough to cycle charge the Marauders if their morale holds. And it looks like it because Bantar is very, very Kislev favored right now. We are getting an Acquiescence go down the Light War Sleds, attempting to slow them down. But yeah, at this point, pull away and just cycle wherever possible. Demonettes are a bit of a problem, though. The Patriarch is holding firm in the middle with the Ice Witch, and another Ice Sheet goes down. Lovely cast. Really a good play so far with the Ice Witch in general. And it seems like the Slaanesh forces are going to be trying one last slow motion desperate charge towards the enemy. And I don't think it's going to last too long. Can she at least tear down any more souls? It looks like the bear rears up. Oh, what a shot. Look at that Ice Witch. Man, she is really the queen bee here, the alpha of the pack, as that Warbear stands towering over the corpses of many a victim. Patriarch was also probably looking to put his body on the line and intercept this evil demon if it got a little too close to his mistress there. Awesome game, very well played. Thank you to Loopy as well for sending this one in. I always appreciate players who are willing to send in close losses as well as, glorious victories, as it makes it a little bit harder for you guys to guess who is going to win the battle. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had an absolute blast. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe as well, and comment down below what you thought of the battle in general. I will be doing some more domination games soon, don't you worry, domination fans. I've been doing quite a lot of land battles recently, mainly for time reasons. And also because I did so much domination on release, wanted to balance out a little bit. We're probably doing a domination maybe tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. I might do another Mordau video. Only time will tell. Those are links in the description. Twitch, Patreon, Discord, all that good stuff. Discord is where you submit replays, just like Loopy did here today, to get cast on the channel. So very quickly, we'll go through some of the big heavy hitters. The Herald of Slaanesh, beautiful player of her all game. Keeping her alive. She can be a little bit squishy, but is very punchy as well. It's kind of funny. We saw Loopy play Nurgle last game, a couple of games ago on the channel, and now it's bringing Slaanesh, and they're just absolutely polar opposites, which does kind of show his versatility as a player. Getting 2.3k on the Herald, 1,000 on the Cav, 959 and 335 is okay, but not fantastic. 1.1k on the Demonettes, 800 value, 450. Is there any other big standouts? Looks like the Furies didn't do that well at all. Marauders, decent, mid to high hundreds across the board. As for the Ice Witch herself, 87 kills, just shy of 2,000 gold value, so performing slightly worse than the Herald, but at the same time, so tanky and durable. She really was like the greatest Ice Witch of her generation there. Holding the enemy back, they were just swarming around her, and she didn't care. Didn't care at all, and that allowed the Kislev forces to rally and get back into the game. 1.2k value on this Warbear Rider, 142 kills. I love to see it. The Light War Sleds, 1.4, 1.2, and 977 gold value. Now, there is a patch coming out, I believe, tomorrow. From when I post this video, I'm expecting the Light War Sleds to get nerfed now. I hope they don't get nerfed so bad that they're terrible, and that they're just, they're still good, but not quite as abusive as they currently are, because I actually think Kislev without War Sleds are one of the weaker factions in the game. So we'll have to see how, if they balance it out with anything, or if it's just a bit of a nerf to them. Elsewhere, yeah, not doing too much. It really did come down to the Warbears, the characters, as well as the Light War Sleds to seal a victory for the might of Kislev. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.